Hello and welcome back to Pastors Wives Tell All. Hi guys. Before we get started, we want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Tyndale Publishing Company. We are so excited about these new Bible studies that we've been talking about. Kat Armstrong is one of their authors, and she has created 8 books, right?
Yes.
8 books. And we all have had the opportunity to dive into a few of them. And as I was diving into Gardens, which is what I'm in right now, I just want to let you know, I love the way that Kat is doing this Bible study, because the Gardens, she's going through different stories in the Bible from Old Testament to New Testament and different garden scenes. So that's the book I'm going to talk about right now. Garden scenes and what God did through each one of those scenes in Scripture, and tells the story so beautifully. And when I walked away doing that Bible study, it was so cool because I was like, it helped me remember where they were in the Bible so much better. I have been in the Word since I was probably like 6th grade. And the way that she helped me put those garden scenes together, it was so beautifully done. And I love how vulnerable she is. I love Bible studies. They're just super fun. But the way that she did it is, first, she was asking you a lot of questions to not just give you all the answers. Right. And I think a lot of times the book gives you the answers, and that's great and grand, but she makes you ponder and think and really ask the Lord what this means. And then she just gives great questions, and she is so vulnerable about things she struggles with, because I think all of us have had those moments in our life where Scripture is just not coming alive for us. And so she really does an amazing job making the story come to life. And so I definitely recommend these books. Get this into your women's ministry, into your church, into your small groups, and it will not disappoint. And I really believe that it is going to make the Bible come alive to so many people. And
connect the dots. So they're not so confused, because you're like, wait, how does this story connect to that story? She's putting it together. In all of these 8 books, which is amazing.
So make sure you go to thestorylineproject.com, and you can get your very own Storyline Bible Studies, Gardens and Deserts, and it will not disappoint. Go get it for anybody, yourself, or your church.
And remember, there's 8 books, so that's a lot that you could go through. Which is pretty cool.
100%. So yeah, go check them out. Hi, I'm Jessica.
I'm Jenna.
And I'm Stephanie.
And you are listening to Pastors Wives Tell All,
a podcast by pastors' wives for church leaders and anyone desiring to take a peek inside our glass house.
We are breaking down walls and crushing pastors' wives stereotypes within the church.
We want pastors' wives and other ministry leaders to know that they are not alone in this. Plus, this is basically therapy for the 3 of us, with a whole lot of dance parties. Whoop, whoop.
Okay, guys. Let's get right into this episode. And we have a booger of an episode today. Did you like that? A booger?
I thought you were literally looking at me telling me that I had a booger.
Oh, gosh.
I was like, oh, gosh, let's fix that.
Okay, so let's get real. We all are in ministry in some way, shape, or form, because if you're a believer, you should be doing what God's called you to do, and that is a form of ministry. And we love Him with all of our hearts. Sometimes our actions don't show that, but we do love Him with all of our hearts. But sometimes, even in the midst of some really high mountaintops and in valleys, doing ministry is hard, especially when you're in a struggle bus season and things are a struggle, or you're just struggling spiritually in your alone time, or just something with family, etc. So we're going to be talking about that today. And I'm excited about it because it's all dealing with testimony and our testimonies and things that we have gone through or might still be going through. And so we hope it kind of just touches you and you know that you're not alone. So Jenna, I'm looking at you. To my left, right here.
To her left, to her left.
You got something to share just of some moments that have been a big struggle, but you've had to continue to run the race even through the struggle?
Yeah. I mean, over the last few years, it's been, I mean, as y'all know, just our home, and I've talked a little bit about this, but like our home has just never honestly really been a place of peace since having children, honestly. I mean, that's just it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I think that for so long we have been focusing on fixing the problem, not really knowing what the problem was. And, you know, we've gone through the last few years just honestly trying to keep our heads above water just in all areas. Emotional regulation is something that we are all trying to learn. Me and my husband both go to anger very quickly when something is not being done correctly, or, you know, if there's disobedience, and that's just me being very honest and raw. I'm so much better than I used to be, but it's just it's our natural tendency is to, you know,
jump to anger,
and the steam just coming out of our ears, you know? But for about a year and a half, maybe now, I started hearing the word family, and I'm like, okay, yes, family. Obviously, our family life is struggling. Like, what does that even mean, you know? And I just felt like the Lord was just saying family, like put family first. And so I was like, okay. So we started being a whole lot more intentional around the house, trying to have more like game nights and movie nights and things like that. And, you know, even though most of those times that we would do those, like, it would go south pretty quickly. And, but we're trying. They can't say we're not trying, you know?
I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah. So, but over this past year, just like lots of little things like that, just keep hearing family, focus on the family, and not really knowing what that means. Like, does that mean I need to like put something down? Does that mean I need to walk away from something? Like, what are you trying to tell me, Lord?
Yeah.
And I have a sweet friend who just hears from the Lord. She's just amazing, and she's prophetic. And she just said, y'all popped in my head. And I have a word from you that I think is from the Lord. And I mean, you can confirm or deny that, you know, but she said, I just heard the Lord say that y'all need to get your house in order. And I was like, okay. But
finish the statement that she said, because she said that, but then
she said, get your house in order. And then she said, he wants to elevate you, but he can't do that if that foundation is not strong. And she said, what I mean by that is your marriage, the two of you. She said, you have been focusing on the kids for so long. She said, it's time to start working on your marriage. And that was just, and then immediately she was like, now that should be a confirmation more than anything. And I was like, oh yeah. And she doesn't know.
Yes, 1000%.
We had never talked about marriage with them, like sweet, dear friends of ours, but we had never talked about the fact that our home life was super crazy. So it was 100% from the Lord. And so me and Ian decided that we were going to dive into counseling, into therapy. And so we called up our sweet counselor who we've known for years, and we were like, we want to do marriage counseling, like for real marriage counseling, like. And so we've been to 2 of those so far, and I will not lie to you, it is hard. It is hard. We love each other so much, but I think that for so long, like I said, we've been focusing on the kids. We just have forgotten to put effort into us. And so, you know, I mean, let's be real. We all get into those seasons where we're like in our marriages where we're kind of roommates instead of, you know, husband and wife. And most of our conversations revolve around schedules and who's picking up the kids. And we haven't been super intentional with each other. Yeah. And so we're really working on that. And a lot of people would probably be shocked to actually hear that, because I mean, like I said, we do love each other. You wouldn't look at us and think like, oh, they're struggling right now. Right. Because I wouldn't say that we have a terrible marriage, but it's like we do just get in those autopilot seasons, and we have for a while. And so she warned us. She said, it's probably going to get, you know, ugly before it gets better. And I was like, oh, great. That sounds wonderful. But it's cool. The little things that like God has shown us along the way, and how we know that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing.
So with that, like, this has been going on for a bit. This isn't just like new. So with that, you both are in full-time ministry, together and separate. So like, how do you struggle I mean, yes, y'all are definitely putting each other first and things are changing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you would want people to do straight off and start there. But like when you're still in the midst of the struggle, how do you still continue to do ministry, abide in his word? Like, what does that look like practically? I mean, because you have been to retreats, you've spoken on stages, like, how do you still do that in the midst of a valley that seems like it's never ending?
Well, I think that that's going to look different for everybody because truly, I do think that there are certain people who he will ask them to lay some things down. He will ask you to put aside some things, to clear your plate, clear your calendar, or like I said, to walk away from some things. And in a way, I have kind of done that with a couple of things. I know that we've talked about it on an episode before where y'all went and did the Minnesota retreat this year, and I didn't go with y'all. And that was the first time that we had ever done anything like that, the three of us, where, you know, we weren't all three there together. But I had such a peace about that decision. So honestly, we have just had to take it decision by decision and pray about each thing. Because ultimately, family, it is what is most important. Yes, ministry is important, but you do have to reevaluate and assess in the moment and in the season what you have to put down in order to do what's best for your family. And that's something that he has really been showing me is it doesn't matter what anybody thinks about it. Doesn't matter what the church thinks about it. Doesn't matter what anybody, even maybe in the ministry that you are a part of, thinks about it, because that could have come into play multiple times. Like, gosh, are Jessica and Stephanie going to think that I'm not in this anymore? My brain is somewhere else. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's gone there for sure. But ultimately it doesn't matter what y'all think. If something was said to me by the Lord, and I just have to trust that I'm hearing him. And usually that comes with confirmation from Ian as well. So
I like that you said step by step. I think a lot of times, like I've seen people, and even I've had the want to very quickly to just go all in on something because I'm like, oh, this must be what the Lord wants me to do. If he's calling me this, then I must have to do this. And I like the way that you said step by step, because I think a lot of times people, just be honest, like in churches where we've pastors and people legit, what's the first thing that people let go of? The things that they're doing at the church.
Yeah.
Because they're too busy. Or I've got to lay some stuff down, so I better lay all the stuff down that I'm doing ministry-wise. I have questions about that.
Because there are other things in your life.
Because there are other things. Yeah. You could let go of Netflix for 2 hours a day. You could let go of, so-and-so that you do every week. But you go to ministry first and let go of ministry. Now, it's one thing if you're in ministry full time and you're doing 20 million things and God's like, hey, like for this season, you need to let go of this so you can focus more on these ministries or whatever. But like for someone that's in a 9-to-5 job and they've got kids playing sports constantly and, driving to everywhere, why is it the first thing you let go of very quickly? All the things that have to do with Jesus.
Yeah.
Or serving.
Well, I think we also have to go back to the God things over good things conversation too, because ultimately there's a lot of good things that might even be ministry things that God's not calling you to for a season.
Right.
So this podcast ministry, or pastor's wives ministry, because it's not just a podcast anymore, but like, I know that God called me to it. Yeah. And I will continue to do it in the capacity that he wants me to in each season, as long as I still feel like he's calling me to it.
Right. Exactly.
And if he ever tells me that it's time for me to let it go, I have to be open-handed enough to do that. But I think that as long as you're praying and you're asking the Lord to show you like what he has for you in that season, and you're being obedient, then I think that you're going to have a peace about whatever you're having to lay down, even if it feels like something you wouldn't typically do.
Right. Well, and it's
both and.
I think it's both and well, even like last year when you said, or for this year, you said no to Africa. Like you didn't say no to like serving with Come Away. You said no to Africa for this because you didn't feel at peace about it.
Right.
Like sometimes you just like the step-by-step thing, I think is a great takeaway for this episode.
And that didn't make sense because I've been 3 years in a row and I've said I was going to go every year.
Right.
And I had to ask myself, okay, why am I saying no?
Yeah.
Because I think I was trying to like live up to my own rule that I had made in my head that I have to go every year. Mm-hmm. But that might not be what God had for me every single year. Exactly. And I have to be okay with that. I was sad about it. It didn't make sense why I felt that way. But I did put it down. And now that I look back at this year, I'm like, I wasn't supposed to be there this year.
All right, for sure.
I'll go again. But like I wasn't supposed to be there this year.
Yeah.
So I think it's like you said, a both and I think that it's seasonal. And as long as you're being obedient and listening to his voice, then you'll have a peace about it regardless.
Yeah. And I love that the calling that he called you to, y'all are taking those steps. You're taking steps toward each other and what God's best is for you. And then y'all both have taken steps back on other things that you've had to. And I think that's just healthy. Like, I think in that season of marriage and ministry, we all have to do that in seasons, and that's okay. And you need a support system that's going to be okay with that.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I definitely know that it's been, I can say honestly, it was hard hearing the Africa thing. It was hard hearing like the step back from Minnesota and all that. And yeah, my mind did go, oh gosh, what is Jenna doing? Like, but I think that
now looking back,
it's one of those things where you can have your opinion, like we all can, but ultimately that person has to make that decision that they believe is right for them, for their spiritual walk with Jesus and their family or whatever they're dealing with. For sure. Hey friend, we will get right back to our episode, but we want to take a moment and thank our patrons. You guys keep our podcast going.
If you are not a patron and you would like to consider donating to our podcast ministry, we would be so grateful, and we might even do a happy dance.
When you become a patron, you get perks like being the first to hear about special info and retreats. You get bonus episodes, monthly devotionals, lock screens, and more.
Plus, we have added a new $1 tier for those who believe in us and what we're doing, just because you love us.
So head on over to our show notes and click on the Patreon link to learn more. Now let's get back to our episode.
What about you, Steffi Pooh?
Well, I guess I'll go off when you said Minnesota. Mine has to do with that.
That's so true.
So, look at that. Look at Jesus. So back in June, Jessica and I went to Minnesota for a women's retreat. It wasn't a pastor's wives retreat. It was just women. And it was probably a group of like 100-ish women. So it was bigger than what we're used to, like sitting in a living room, sharing our stories and testimonies and such. But leading up to this retreat, I was feeling very distant from God. And I didn't know why necessarily, like distant in a way of like not feeling hungry like I had been before to sit in the word and soak it up or like be with him. It's like my eyes were so focused on a lot of other things. Plus I've been struggling physically, health-wise, just like brain fog, all of those kind of things, just getting older, it's fun. I'm grandma. It's fine. Yeah. But so while we're at this retreat, I am feeling very defeated. So at this point, I am struggling. I am thinking, how can I get up on this stage and share with these women when I feel like I am not close with you, Lord? So that at that first night when I got up and spoke, I remember when I got done, like I knew the Lord kind of took the wheel a bit because I felt very all over the place, but I also had questions afterwards. I even asked Jessica, I was like, Jessica, like, did that even make sense? I completely forgot to say this part, which
it was great. I think it was just in her mind.
Yes. Yeah. I still was struggling, but after that next morning, so before I am going to speak again, I ask her if I could grab this devotion book she has. It's called Come Away, My Beloved. And it's an older one. And we've talked about it before because Jessica, we always say like, what is this magical book? Because the scripture she uses and what she says, she speaks like Jesus is talking straight to you. Kind of like the Jesus Calling by Sarah Young. I'm sure people have heard of that one.
Yeah.
And so, but every time she opens it, it's just randomly, it's like the Lord gives her the exact verses, the exact word that she needs for that day. And so I was like, can I see that real quick? And I open it up and I don't even remember exactly what I read or which scripture, but I knew it spoke directly to me of basically him giving the increase. I believe was the, what the verse was about. And then it literally said like, my child or whatever, I know you feel like you're not enough, you feel depleted or small or whatever. It was some kind of verbiage like that. Just bring me your little and I will give the increase. And like, I am literally in tears at this point going, that really was for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I truly believe that word was for me in that moment. God foresaw that and put that there for me. And so I just felt in that moment renewed and very close to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't been feeling that. And so I just remember the next time I got up to speak, it was just it was different. I wasn't so reliant on my notes. I just was like, okay, Lord, like, you've got this. And he did. And he took care of it. And the whole weekend was just extra special. I don't know. It's just the closeness I felt with him. And then when I came home after all of that, it was different. I went back on my porch and I decided the day after we got back from the retreat, because I was so tired, we barely got any sleep. And we left super early in the morning. We were up late every night. There was driving and flying and all the things.
It was lovely. We would like to do it again next year. Wink, wink.
Yes.
We definitely want to come back.
Please,
we love it. It was so much.
Okay, go ahead.
But we were very tired. And so I decided I'm going to have a little bit of a Sabbath. I'm not very good at that. And we're just not. And so I did a lot of like sitting on my back porch, talking to God, reading. And I just kept feeling filled up. And I was like, oh, this is so good. Like, I want to keep doing this. And so I don't know. It's like a time of struggle and feeling far. But then it reminds me that when we go through that, it's just an opportunity. If we could flip that and say, this is an opportunity for me to grow closer to him.
Yeah.
To see what he can do when I'm feeling not enough, when I'm feeling like I'm not doing enough, being with him enough, whatever. It's like he just calls me back to himself.
Yeah.
Like, he's just that good. So it was really sweet.
Why do we have such a hard time like going back to that place though?
I don't know.
Like, because I mean, if I asked you like, hey, how's your Sabbath time been since then?
Yeah.
You know, like, how's your quiet time? Why do we?
It's up and down. It's up and down. It's up and
like,
down.
Why are we so up and down when we
I don't know
that like we can't survive without it?
I know.
It's so crazy.
I know.
Lord,
I definitely
what's
feel
wrong
like
with this.
and all I'm going to say this, I do feel like the enemy has been on extra hard on me. I have felt in all the areas, physically, financially, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, like in all areas, which always means there's something. Yeah. There's a reason for that. Yeah. And so I have to keep reminding myself of that and go, why do you not feel like it today? You need to go do it anyway. Like, I've had to literally do that since I've been home and go, no. Stop doing the things and go sit for a minute.
Yeah.
With him. Like, for real.
And I really think that he increases your time when you do that. I think the thing is if you make time for him, he will give you the time to do what is important. But we have to like sit and make time for it.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, you're right.
You know, I think
for sure.
But it is legit, I think, hard for all three of us and everyone else in the world.
It's just in different ways.
It's in different ways.
In different ways.
Yeah. But I think like you said, you kind of, just alluded to finances, health, all of that. So like in this season of still doing ministry, helping run the college ministry, still super involved with youth, everything, counseling, and then pastors' wives, like, how are you dealing with, I do love Jesus and I love all the ministry that I get to do, but I'm struggling. Like, how are you dealing with it?
Literally, this is going to sound so like weird and backwards, but God is in the backwards. So I have stopped beating myself up about sitting for hours or extreme Bible study. So what I've been trying to focus more in on is like quality and like literally over even the past few days of just being okay with going back to start myself back in to get that craving again.
Yeah.
I have been doing more devotional type things where I have several verses to read. Usually I'll go and read like whatever's around those verses or whatever, talk to God about it, read the devotion and sit with that and be like, what do you want from me from this word? Yeah. I've literally made it more simple. I've simplified.
Yeah.
And right now that's been feeling more fresh than anything. That has helped me get into a better headspace in general, especially on the days when I'm really tired and I'm having a hard time like functioning and thinking through things. I think that's where I was beating myself up, is because I could not focus like I've been able to because of the health stuff. And so I'm just like, Lord, I don't even understand. What are you saying right here? Right. And so to have someone else break it down for me a little bit, but then to sit with it and go, oh, that was for me.
Yeah.
Like you can still do that in the simple when I feel like my brain's not enough and my physically I'm not enough right now to do this.
Right.
If that makes any sense. And also just asking for so much grace and help from him.
Yeah.
Literally. Like, Lord, like I'm going into small group on Sunday morning and I'm going, I don't feel like I've done near enough for this, but Lord, I'm going to need you to speak through me.
Right.
And he does, like literally every time, like where I'm weak, he becomes strong. So,
well, and I think if we think of it, like, you know, this is like a question for another day, maybe, but like we can ponder it for a second. But like, if you think of it, like in ministry, if we go back to scripture, Jesus, disciples, they're preparing to go into cities and share and do the work of the Lord. Are they sitting for hours trying to prep the perfect sermon? Or is Jesus getting alone with the Father to be with him? You know, I think we have made preparation a God. I think we've made preparation something that is of more importance, or it's than being still. It's not
the right preparation.
Correct.
Right.
We have made preparation and all of these little things.
We've made preparation PowerPoints instead of prayer.
Yes.
You like the P's?
All the P's. But yeah, it's so true because I mean, if you think like how many pastors and how many ministry leaders are falling.
Yeah.
They're falling because they're spending so much time doing and preparing and not enough at the feet of Jesus.
Right.
And so like, and we all can fall into that.
It's the
and
abiding.
So it's the abiding, the backwards of no, if I don't figure out what I'm speaking on, then how am I going to be able to speak to this group of people?
Yeah.
You know, when Jesus, they just walked and they did who came to them. They spoke to them. They shared with them. They prayed with them.
Yeah.
And we have made it harder than it should be. It's to simplify. I think that's why testimony's been so much in my head lately is because that's what changes people.
Absolutely.
You know? So,
well, and I think about you. Okay. So I feel like this is one area that you do really well in is just sitting with the Lord and being with him in his presence. And because of that,
not all the time.
But
she's
probably
pretty,
more than
pretty
most.
good at it.
She's pretty good at this area, just being with the Lord, even if she does only have a few minutes or whatever. But I've noticed that in you because of that. Like, I remember that day you said, oh, like the Lord literally gave me an entire sermon this morning. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? She literally
and I was like,
she
are
got
you surprised?
her voice text out message thing and started like preaching in her bathroom
while she's getting ready, like putting her makeup on,
From
putting her
the
clothes
Lord.
on. She's preaching and letting it write for her in her notes.
Yes.
And then comes up with this entire sermon while she's doing other things too. I'm like,
But what
favored.
she did not prepare with the PowerPoint. She prepared by praying and being with the Lord, and he
That's
literally downloaded it to
in
her.
her,
really did
I mean,
download it.
that's what he does though. When you're abiding in him, like it's wild.
Oh yeah.
So
He'll
you
download
do.
what he needs to do.
You do
yeah,
a great
he
job
does.
with
So
that.
Yeah,
now
for sure.
that we've talked about all the ways you're wonderful, could you share with us something you struggle with?
100%. How long do we have? No. So one of the things as y'all were talking, I was trying to figure out, okay, which way you want me to go with this, Lord? But
Once again, preparing with prayer,
Yes.
not PowerPoints. Go on.
so this might not seem like a big thing, but it is a big thing to me. So it might be for one person out there. So I think it was at the beginning of the year. I had a dinner at someone's house that had a few of the staff members over. And this person is very passionate about discipleship and is just amazing at it, has a heart for it, which I love because I do too. And so I just I feed off of his passion. And I remember at the end, he gave us all this book and was like, I challenge you that y'all need to go disciple someone. And my passion turned to wait, you have no clue what I'm doing. It turned into a little of a pride thing of you have no clue who I'm discipling. You have no clue what my in and out life looks like and how busy it is. And I totally missed that God could actually be speaking to me because I was like, how dare you? And so I think that it was a moment of pride of going, you have no clue, which that's in general. People, unless they live with you and are in your life every day, they have no clue what you do.
Right.
And everyone is doing great things for the Lord in their own way and all of that. But I had a moment where I was like, it humbled me, but it also was like, it knocked my pride because I was like, I'm already doing, like, I don't need to put another thing on my plate. And I am discipling. Like, it was almost like like inside.
Yeah.
Outwardly, I was going, yeah, like that. But it wasn't my first reaction to be like, oh my gosh, that's an amazing idea.
Yeah.
Who would have thunk? You know? And so it was a pride issue for me in that moment. And God, like when I went home, I just kind of sat on it and just, why do people say sat on it?
That's a good idea.
Because I didn't sit on it.
Well, we don't sit on anything.
I just
other than chairs
thought about it and talked to the Lord about it and kind of whined about it.
You just sat there and wouldn't get up and walk on from it. You were
Right.
sitting on it.
I was sitting on it.
You were chewing on it.
I was chewing on it. And so I just was like, God, you see everything I'm doing. Why can't he see that? Why can't everybody else see it? And challenging my husband that's super busy and all of that. Like, you know, like we're all super busy, you know. And I just went to immediate, like walls up pride. And so as I sat on it, I remember the next day just sitting with the Lord and just going like, wait, if you sit with me and you really look at your time, you can add another thing to your plate because I will give you the time that you need to do what I've called you to do. And if you need to like prioritize and do one less thing or change around your schedule, but you do have time. And I was like, no, I don't have time. I'm so busy. He's like, yeah, so is everyone else, but you have time. Make time for the things that are important. And so I humbled myself and I was like,
so maybe it was for me. Dang it.
It was for me. But so I say all that to go like the struggle was, it might not have been a long struggle. And I definitely have other struggles, but I wanted to name that because there might be people in here that have the tendency to go, I'm doing so much. I'm so busy. I mean, that's our nature to go, oh, we're so busy. Like we all say that. But I think that we have to look at our busy and see that there are things that can be taken out an hour that can be taken out a week to do something that God's called you to, because you will prioritize and make time for the things that are truly important.
And that makes me think too, like that's a small version of this, but I think as church leaders, it could be easy for us to be in that prideful scenario of like, my entire life is about service.
Right.
But like, what is one of the sins that the Lord mentions as like,
pride,
the worst of the worst, you know what I mean? Like listed and pride is one of them. And so I always have to think the Pharisees, right? So we can get so caught up in like, well, look at me. Well, I want to do better, but there's not much more I can do to be better.
Yeah. Right.
I am at the best. But here's the thing, like we are constantly being sanctified.
Correct.
We are never fully there. Not until we reach heaven. We have a new body,
right?
New earth, all the things. Will we be restored to what we were supposed to
Perfection.
be? Correct. And so I think we all have to sit with that and go, I don't care where I'm at right now. I could feel as close can be with the Lord. But if you are truly that close, God will be doing things like that, refining you and saying, well, hold on, there is something.
Yeah.
And if you're at the point where you think there is nothing,
right.
I'd be checking myself for the pride.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I was glad that struggle didn't last long. And then it's been like the most beautiful summer being able to disciple. And then I was trying to figure out, okay, who do I disciple? And I was going to bring along a person to shadow and disciple with me. And so that was beautiful because we grew in our relationship and hopefully she'll be able to go disciple someone on her own now. And then the person that we discipled was not who was in my head because I was like looking for someone because a lot of times I will look and go, okay, do I have something in common with her? Because I mean, it's awkward if you're going to start a discipling program and some of my discipleship is more relational, which I think is what it should be. But I felt like in this moment that it needed to be like foundational and just going back to the basics. And it was a great book that we went through, and God put another person in my mind and that I would have never imagined, but I've absolutely loved her And the person also that was discipling with me has loved her, and she just had a baby today. Yesterday. She just had her baby yesterday. And we got through the whole discipling course before her baby was born, which was really cool. But we just had so much fun.
So what would you have missed? Had you thought,
so
I'm already
much.
doing enough.
I mean, so much. Just building a new relationship, first of all. I don't know. I think a lot of it was more for the person that was helping disciple, like hopefully building her confidence and knowing like, you've got this, like you can do this on your own. And so it was really cool to see her grow and to hear more of her testimony and just build a relationship with her. So yeah, it was really special. And I was like, okay, maybe I can add 1 hour a week doing something for 8 or 9 weeks. You know what I mean? Because now I know that we'll continue to meet with this person because we had so much fun, and we'll continue to build a relationship. It'll just, discipleship will look different.
So cool.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
I think that anyone that's struggling with pride and struggling with busy and going, I just can't say yes to this because I'm doing all of this. There are some times, and you have heard us preach on a podcast, learn how to say no.
Right.
But definitely bring it to the Lord before you say no. Now, if it's just 20 times a week, someone's asking you for coffee, like legit, get a calendar out and say no and schedule far in advance.
Yeah.
But when it's these moments that he can put before you from challenges, from godly people that love you and just want the best for you, take it back to him. And it might not be for you this time, but it might be, and you might miss it because you're thinking, oh, I've got too much on my plate, or I'm already doing too much. How dare him think that I could take on something else. So just be, really in tune with the Spirit to know what your answer should be. Yeah. So, yeah.
I love that.
Yes.
Well, I think this has been a lovely conversation. I don't know if they think it, but it was good for us.
Quite lovely. It was.
It was.
So perhaps we could challenge the listeners to go find a friend.
Yeah.
Or someone you trust. Share your struggle.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be, whatever has come to your mind. And then talk through how you can walk that out with the Lord,
Exactly.
So good.
And then DM us and tell us about it, especially on Instagram.
Tell us all the things, guys.
Tell us how the Lord is working and moving and shaking up your life.
That's right. Oh,
did you write a new song?
She did right then in that moment.
I was waiting for the rest of it.
Before we hang up, we're not really hanging anything up. Before we go,
I showed my age.
We hang up my phone.
We hang up like this now.
I'm 40 years old.
Okay. Anywho, so before we go, guys, just so you know, we would love to hear your stories. We have 3 different ways in which you can share what's going on in your life, or maybe you have some crazy ministry stories and that sort of thing. So we're going to put in the show notes, I will get that to you, Genesee, put it in there, a link to where you can share something that you think would be great for our podcast listeners. So whether that's you just want to record yourself telling a funny story that's happened in ministry, or maybe something difficult but other people can learn from. Maybe you want to write it out because you want it to be anonymous and you want us to share it briefly. Maybe you want to be interviewed on the podcast. Hey, we're looking for stories like that too. And then the other way is we are looking for people who have been in abusive relationships with pastors, I guess you could say. So, and when I say I like marriage, because it's called Behind the Parsonage's Walls or something like that.
Was it a prisoner at the parsonage?
I don't know.
I can't
remember. Either way, it's coming
something.
at the end of the season and you stay tuned.
That's right.
So in order to share those, we do have some stories that have been submitted, but we want to have enough like of the small ones too, like the funny things or quick stories of weird things that have happened, or even just little stories of hardship but that the Lord worked through.
Yeah.
We want to be able to have an episode where we just share a bunch of those. Yeah. So go ahead and submit your stories. If you have those, we would love to hear from you. All right. Until next time, guys.
Bye, guys. We love you.
Bye.
Okay, friends, if you have enjoyed this episode as much as we have, please help us spread the word on Facebook and Instagram.
If you didn't know yet, Instagram is where all the fun is at. From dance reels on Wednesdays to spiritual encouragement and laugh out loud posts in between, there is something for everyone.
And last but certainly not least, if you could take a moment right now to stop what you're doing and give us a rating and review, even subscribe to our podcast, this seriously helps other people find us who wouldn't be able to otherwise. Thank you so much for your love and support. We hope you'll tune in next week.